So, do we have a way to defend against the Harrowstorms, or what?
The elixir should do what we need, provided neither Fen nor I made any miscalculations.
Yolen, don't be so negative. The elixir will work. You'll see.
So much talk of brews and potions. A lot of nonsense, I say. Nothing keeps the Constitution strong and healthy better than a good dose of orcish ale. And by dose, I mean a very large and well-aged barrel.
I'm not sure I completely follow what Fen and the clever woman are talking about, but it sounds like they may have made a breakthrough. What about Svana? She took a big risk going to Blackreach with you. That's not the point. I never should have agreed to let her put herself in that kind of danger. She's the daughter of a High King. Besides, without Svana to help us, Skyrim could send us back to Eastmarch. Or worse. Sure as bones, you're as bad as she is. Let's just get back to the business at hand. Talk to Fen and see if you understand what he and the clever woman are going on and on about.
It's all kind of dwarven to me. But I think Fen and the clever woman have figured out the elixir. Talk to Fen. See if I understand them correctly. And tell him the sooner the elixir is ready, the better. We gathered the information Fen needs to make an elixir. If it works as he hopes, it will protect my people from the Harrowstorms. Talk to Fen. Let's find out what else he requires to finish his work.
Fennorian has an amazing mind. His thoughts and theories wind up in the most interesting places. Go ahead. Talk to him and see for yourself. An amazing mind.
Oh, good. You're back. Mjolnir and I have been discussing the various ways to turn what we've got into a protective elixir. I'm hesitant to get too excited, but I think we've figured out how to defend against the Harrowstorms. The Grey Host uses an unstable mix of alchemy and sorcery to create the Harrowstorms. An arcane ritual and the Netherroot brew focus the power of each Harrowstorm through the prepared Witch Pikes. Ingenious, but fully exploitable. We can use the refined brew as the basis of our elixir. Now that we understand how the Harrowstorms are created, we can use those same components to replicate the medallion's protective properties. We just need to gather the necessary components. Svana's associate, Mog, will procure most of the supplies I need, but there's one final ingredient required. For various reasons, I can't simply walk into the Hall of the Dead and claim it myself. I need you to acquire Arkay's sacred oil. A holy ointment associated with a god that became popular due to imperial influence. It's used by the priests in the Hall of the Dead to provide protection against necromancy and the undead. We need that oil to create our elixir.
You'll need my help. I'll meet you at the Hall of the Dead. Mog, put away the tankard and get the supplies Fen requires.
Yes, your royal ladiness. But I'm keeping the tankard.
Another infernal Harrowstorm.
Why does Skyrim hesitate?
The High King issues orders, but all they do is lock away the afflicted. When will we strike back?
The Harrowstorms continue to ravage our land, filling the city walls with people crying for protection. And what does the High King do? Next to nothing. Oh, he makes small gestures, but still things worsen. So he has. But have soldiers been sent to Morthal? Has aid been dispatched to Garthald? No, not yet. Skyrim helps the people that flow into the city, while the rest of Western Skyrim suffers. We must find the perpetrators and attack!
I hoped the words of the High Priest would offer some comfort, but no. The poor man seems more in need of solace than the faithful of solitude, and still the refugees pour in. My Jarl dead, our hold destroyed, and the High King does almost nothing. The princess. Can we really trust that troubled young woman? After everything you did in Carthwatch, I suppose I must. If you and Svana truly have a way to help, please be quick about it. I feel we're running out of time.
Arke, preserve us from the terrible fate lurking below us.
Princess Svana, what can I do for you, Your Highness?
Listen to my friend, High Priest. We need your help.
May Arcade drive back the darkness, forevermore.
I came here after my mother's death. Someone had to handle arrangements. Talk to the High Priest and ask about the sacred oil. I need a moment.
I'm surprised to see the princess here. As you can see, the influx of refugees has made this place much more hectic than usual. Is there something I can do for Princess Svana? Sacred oil? Strange. That's the second time today someone has come seeking Arke's anointing balm. Sword Thane Athlet arrived with an edict from the king. Demanded our entire supply. How we're to consecrate the dead without it, I have no idea. The Sword Thane wouldn't say. He just mentioned that the High King needed it to defend Solitude. I'm sorry I can't comply with the princess's request. Things are hard enough that these refugees must take shelter here among the dead. The Sword Thane took the oil to Castle Dower. That's where all the supplies for a siege are gathered during periods of strife. I pray that High King Svargrim receives the patience and wisdom required to see us through this crisis. Solitude's foundation began with the construction of Castle Dower. It's the oldest structure in the city, and the most defensible. I tried to move the refugees there for safekeeping, but my request was denied. The High King has other plans, I suppose.
Has my father found a way to use this sacred oil against the Grey Host? Perhaps he's doing more than I thought. This Sword Thane has helped me in the past. He'll be reasonable. He has to be. Let's let him know what we need.
Hold! Castle Dower is... Princess Svana.
Sword Thane, our business is urgent. My friend will explain. Has my father found a way to use...
I don't have time for the princess's proclivities right now. The High King... We barely keep up with the multitude of tasks, so speak quickly and let me get back to it. My orders from the High King were clear. Stockpile the entire supply of sacred oil in the Temple of the Divines here within the confines of Castle Dower. What in Shore's name does the princess need with holy oil anyway? Protection? Truly? The Harrowed already outnumber my soldiers, and more arrive every day. Still, giving you the oil would violate the High King's edict. I suppose if I happened to look the other way for a moment, I wouldn't notice if a flask disappears.
A single flask? Then we'll have to make do. Let's get it back to...
Sword Thane! Why his work? I gave strict orders, yet my daughter freely enters the castle grounds. What do they want, Sword Thane?
They,
We came to offer our assistance, Father. Sword Thane, how can we help?
Athlet has everything well in hand, child. Despite your intentions, you would only hinder our efforts. Go! The Sword Thane doesn't need my daughter or her wastrel underfoot. Away with you! We're much too busy for Svana's frivolous notions.
You try my patience. Take the princess and leave here immediately.
My father's never been what I'd call a warm and caring parent. But this crisis has made him even more distant. Let's get this sacred oil to Fen. My father will certainly change his attitude once we present the protective elixir to him. He's trying to protect me. It's what he does. And leave me out. Though I suppose that's mostly my own fault. I know Mother's death weighs on him, as does this entire crisis. That's why we have to help. This elixir is going to work. It has to. It's not that unusual. Castle Dower is the most defensible part of the city. In the past, we'd gather the people inside the walls. Now my father is using the fortress to house the Herald. They need to go somewhere, right? Come on, let's go.
Once it's ready, I'll test the elixir.
As you say, Lyris. Ah, here they come now. You have the sacred oil? Add it to the cauldron.
Go ahead. Do as Fen asked and pour the oil into the cauldron. We need to find out if this protective elixir is going to work.
You have the oil? Then toss it in the cauldron. You don't want to know what else Fen and the old witch had me drop in that pot.
So the High Priest let you have some of his precious oil? No, I don't want the details. Empty the flask into the cauldron and we'll see what happens. Oh, and make sure to stand back when you do it. Just in case.
Please, don't get too close while you're carrying the sacred oil. I have an adverse reaction to such ointments. If you'll pour it into the cauldron, I can complete the elixir. Yes, a perfect fusion. It's ready to be tested. Come, let's talk. With the addition of the sacred oil, the elixir is complete. Before we produce enough to distribute to the people of Western Skyrim, we need to test it. I'm confident of my work, but we're dealing with powerful forces here. We can't wait for the next Harrowstorm to strike. But what you and Svana learned in Blackreach might help. You heard that Exarch Ulfra was testing Harrowstorm rituals in a place called the Undergrove. We'll go there and let Lyris drink the elixir. During my explorations of Blackreach, I came across an ancient burial site, a place called the Midnight Barrow. This Undergrove must be inside those ruins. Once there, you and Svana keep watch from a safe distance, while Lyris steps into the storm. From what I could tell, the Midnight Barrow sank into Blackreach in the distant past. Somewhere in its chambers, we'll find the Undergrove. The ruined barrow is in the Lightless Hollow, in the northwest portion of the cavern. We'll meet you there. We're going to find an active Harrowstorm in the Undergrove, or I'm going to attempt to replicate one in there. Then Lyris drinks the elixir, exposes herself to the dark magic, and we wait to see what happens. Very risky. But it's also our best chance to counter the Harrowstorms and fight back against the Grey Host. Either Lyris comes through fine, or she transforms into a Harrowed. Or a Harrow Fiend. That's also a possibility.
You and Fen stay put until we clear a path to the Undergrove.
Fine. Just don't take all day.
This is it. Look lively and let's get on with it.
Go on. You and Lyris deal with any hostiles and find the Undergrove. Then we can finally test the elixir. We're going to find an active Harrowstorm in the Undergrove. Or I'm going to attempt to replicate one in there. Then Lyris drinks the elixir, exposes herself to the dark magic, and we wait to see what happens. Very risky. But it's also our best chance to counter the Harrowstorms and fight back against the Grey Host. Either Lyris comes through fine, or she transforms into a Harrod. Or a Harrow Fiend. That's also a possibility.
Ugh, I hate being treated like I need protection. But Lyris is right. Fen and I will just get in the way if a battle breaks out. Clear us a path to the Undergrove. Then we'll catch up with you.
This must be the place. I'll go back and
No need. We're here.
The princess insisted.
We followed at a safe distance and only advanced after you cleared the way. From this point on, we stay together. And that's an order.
Yes. What she said. Now, let's enter the Undergrove. So this is the place. The Undergrove. According to the orders you found, the Grey Host is experimenting with Harrowstorms in there. You should go first. Then we'll find a spot to test the elixir. We're going to find an active Harrowstorm in the Undergrove. Or I'm going to attempt to replicate one in there. Then Lyris drinks the elixir, exposes herself to the dark magic, and we wait to see what happens. Very risky. But it's also our best chance to counter the Harrowstorms and fight back against them.
I know this is our best course of action, but I can't help worrying about Lyris. I'm not sure I can forgive myself if something happens to her. No. We need to test the elixir. Lyris volunteered without hesitation. She's a true hero. Still, to know she might die to help my homeland, that's not easy for me to live with. I know that. My parents have been pounding that into my head since I was a little girl. But I never want to take those kinds of decisions lightly. Let's get moving.
Let's go inside and get this over with before I change my mind. You know, I tried to convince Fen to add some meat into the mix, but he totally ignored me. In addition to the refined netherroot brew, Fen needs information on the Ice Reach Coven medallions. Plus, we're hoping to learn more about the big storm the Grey Host has planned. Help Fen and... Let's go inside and get... It needs to be done, and I'm the logical choice. King Yoren sent me here to help Western Skyrim. If that means drinking Fenn's concoction and possibly becoming a mindless herald, so be it. Look, I was once a prisoner of a Daedric prince. If we get out of this, remind me to tell you about that sometime. As for now, I trust Fenn. The elixir will work. We just need to have a little faith.
We need to find where they're experimenting with the Harrowstorms.
You honor me with your presence, my king.
Grey Host, stay quiet and listen.
This Harrowstorm must be the biggest we have ever wrought, my sister-in-arms.
That's the leader of the Grey Host.
Have we heard from Solitude? Is everything in place?
I have been assured the city is ripe for harvest.
Rada al-Saran and Exarch Ulfra. Should we postpone the test?
Certainly not. The holds are counting on us. Besides, we might be able to end this threat right here and now.
The murderers who killed our beloved Singalis.
And you're about to join him.
Impudent mortal! You will pay for your crime. Now for the rest of these curs.
Allow me the honor of spilling their blood.
Very well, sweet sister. Join me in Greymoor. Tasks.
Let this Harrowstorm play the flesh from your bones!
Svana, no!
See to Lyris, Fenn. Pray your elixir works.
Protect Svana. She needs time for the elixir to do its job.
Brother, for that, you die!
Svana's as stubborn as a Skyrim winter, but she's definitely got the blood of a Jarl coursing through her veins. I'll be fine. Go check on the princess.
Lyris will be all right. She's as strong as a mammoth and twice as mean. But Svana, she was exposed to the full effects of the Harrowstorm. Check on her while I finish up here.
I think it worked. I stood in a Harrowstorm and nothing happened. Fenn's elixir is a success. And we took out another one of the Grey Host leaders. We've done good, my friend. Never better. We need to create as much of the elixir as possible and distribute it throughout Solitude before Rada al-Saran's massive Harrowstorm hits. I also want to find out who in the city is helping him. Let's meet back at the Blue Palace. Once my father understands that we have a way to protect against the Harrowstorms, he'll have to take us seriously. Let's get back to the city as fast as we can. I know, right? It happened so quickly. When we confronted Rada al-Saran and Exarch Ulfra, the Vampire Lord blasted Lyris with his magic. When I saw her fall, I knew I had to act. It certainly gave us a fighting chance. When she called forth the Harrowstorm, I grabbed the elixir from Lyris and barely thought about what I was doing. I just drank it down and walked into the storm. I don't disagree, but somebody had to do it. There wasn't any other option. And I'd do it again. My people are counting on me.
Listen to your daughter, Svargrim. We need to do something.
Don't test me, Redharn. I know exactly what I need to do.
High King or not, we have to make Svargrim listen to reason. He sees conspiracies in every shadow, but refuses to accept that Princess Svana has something that will actually help our people. The man makes my blood boil.
If the High King plans to stay on his throne, then he needs to lead. This inaction is infuriating. If he won't do something, then he should step aside, and the sooner the better.
Speak your piece to the king and be done with it. I need to clear the hall.
He's my father, but he never listens to a word I say. Maybe you can get through to him. You have to try.
I'm not comfortable in such surroundings, but I'll endure. We need to convince the High King that the elixir works. And then we have to make a lot of it, and quickly.
Svargrim has the manners of a rabid hawker. How do his people stand him?
Something is off about all this. Svargrim has always been stubborn. But now?
Our enemies circle ever closer, and now even my daughter turns against me. What's next? Will my beloved wife return to accuse me of some heinous crime? Well, get to it. Tell me about Svana's miraculous elixir before I have the lot of you tossed out. You represent my most hated enemy and expect me to believe a word you say? Even if you speak true, worms have found purchase in the wood and seek to rot my kingdom from within. I will not let Solitude and the Western Holds fall. Trust Svana. Perhaps. No. No! Your honeyed words are but echoes of my most obstinate foes. You offer a miracle with one hand, while holding a poisoned dagger in the other. Hell, I need no help from the likes of you.
Don't be a fool, father. This elixir will save our people.
I didn't think you had it in you, daughter. You have actually surpassed my expectations, more's the pity. And I'll hear no more talk of this miracle elixir.
Father, no!
The Grey Host is my true ally. Once the Harrowstorm engulfs Solitude, my kingdom will endure for all eternity.
I should have sensed it. Svargrim's a vampire.
Svana.
Not now, Lyris. I need to think about this.
Svargrim, you bastard! People are dead. A hold's destroyed. And our High King had a hand in it? How will we survive this betrayal?
How can this be? The High King? Sacrificing his own people? It's so hard to believe.
It must be some sort of trick. The High King would never betray us. Would he?
I should have suspected, sensed something. Svargrim has taken the curse, become a vampire. And he's working with the Grey Host. This is bad, my friend. Very, very bad.
They thought he was grieving, but it was all a ruse. My father, High King of Western Skyrim, in league with the Grey Host! Please, talk to Lyris. I need to consider what happens next.
I knew there was something wrong, but this? How could Svargrim throw in with the Grey Host? It's brazen, even for him.
Svargrim's a bastard, but King Yoren believed he had the best interest of his people at heart. Obviously, something changed. And with Solitude targeted for a massive Harrowstorm, things have gotten more complicated. Not everything is as grim as it appears. We did create an elixir. That's our best chance of protecting the people from the Harrowstorm. We just need to distribute it. In the meantime, take this. It may not seem like much, but you earned it.
Father, how could you?